Good morning, or actually afternoon here. Sorry that this is coming so late. There's a lot of stuff going on that we're dealing with right now. So glad I could get this done though. Reading through Philippians, all of Philippians. Um, again, a book that deserves more than just a quick read through, but that's what we can afford as we go through this chronological reading in a year. The one thing that stands out, and the reason it stands out for me, is because there's a number of similar things that have been standing out from our reading through a lot of these letters, and it's where Paul talks about the law. The law is not for the righteous. 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 I just keep repeating it because it's not what we find in the church today. It's not what we're finding applied today. In a previous letter that we read through, Paul explained that grace puts law in its place. The law still has a place. It's still valuable. Jesus said not a letter would drop from it. The law is perfect. It's holy. It's wonderful. But it's not applied to the righteous because we have been saved by grace and not by works and not by observance of the law. And now that law has been transferred so that it is written on our heart. It's part of our DNA. It is the righteousness that we are working out. It is an alignment with Father. This, we talked about it before. There's two types of righteousness. There's the righteousness that has been declared over us in relationship with Father, and there's the righteousness as in the behavior and the acts. But Paul says that as good as the moral aspect of the law is, it is not applied to the righteous because we already walk in that morality as declared by Father, and it's being worked out in us. That we can't break the law because sin has been severed from us, and there is no accusation now. The only accusation will be according to relationship. And a relationship that is right is a relationship of righteousness. Any other form of relationship is not a proper relationship. It's not a relationship that is birthed and supported by the Holy Spirit. So it may seem like a lot of playing with words, but this is so important because the place of the law is to bring conviction, and the Holy Spirit brings conviction with the law to the unrighteous, to the rebellious ones, to the lost ones. We are the awakened ones. They are the ones who are sleeping. So that this law is there. The law has no power to awaken anybody, but the law has defines rebellion. It defines rebellion so that the Holy Spirit is able then to bring in conviction, and conviction can lead people to an awakened state. So the law is applied to the lost, not the righteous. This is so important because it's not what we find in the church. What we find in the church is a lot of condemnation when people make mistakes. And they would have to understand that those mistakes are not made. You can call it sin. If you want acts of rebellion, you can call it that. But we are the children of God. We are not sinners. We may sin. We may rebel. We may act improperly. But the Holy Spirit will convict us according to righteousness. The Holy Spirit will remind us who we are, and this behavior doesn't belong to us. He doesn't convict us according to sin. He convicts us according to righteousness so that we rise up in that righteousness. And Paul is saying, law is not for the righteous. The law is not for the righteous, but grace puts law in its proper place, which is a thing that will bring conviction to those who are lost in the world for their good, to make them aware of their condition. Nobody can be saved if they don't realize that they need to be saved, and that's the purpose of the law. It doesn't mean that we need to machine gun people down with it, but when they ask us questions, how is it that you are saved? How is it? How do you have the Holy Spirit? How is it that you are able to stay so peaceful and calm in these situations? How do you have such wisdom that we're able to then explain to them? And we can use the law in that explanation, but it's not to kill people. Not at all. The Holy Spirit brings conviction. So that's what stood out for me. There's a lot here in the book of the Philippians, so the church in Philippi. It was always one of my favorites as a kid. So anyway, I'm going to leave that with you. It's something for you to consider, and ask the Lord for more clarification on that. But we live according to our relationship. We obey out of love, not out of a law. We obey out of not out of fear, but out of love. And there's a huge difference. You guys be blessed, be encouraged. Keep my family in prayers at this time. We appreciate it. And we'll see you tonight. God bless.